And I think he was a figure that everyone saw him as this kind of David to Goliath sort of character.
In Argentina, there is a church, the Maradona Church,
Yeah.
that they celebrate the Christmas
Yeah.
for Saint on Maradona's birthday.
Oh, really? Wow. What was it like in Argentina, man?
Well, it was surprising first.
Mm-hmm.
I was having dinner and watching, listening radio and watching a football show.
Okay.
And they started like something happened,
Mm-hmm.
and the news was not confirmed, but then yes. So it was like everyone was in shock, and that those are the things that you think that they are never happen.
Mm.
He has many health problems in the past,
Mm-hmm.
almost dead because of drugs and stuff, but people think that he was because of all those situations, he was like immortal.
Yeah.
So he had a surgery a few weeks ago, and nobody talked about that. So everyone thought it was okay.
Mm.
So it was like a big surprise. Well, there was a, how do you say, the ceremony where the body is, I don't know the English word for that. I don't remember. So they make it only for 4 hours,
Mm-hmm.
and there were too many people that want to go.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a mess, and they made it in the pink house. It's where the president works. So it was a mess of people and with police and everything.
I was watching it on Twitter. People were just paying their respects and walking by the casket.
It's something probably we never are going to see something like that when someone dies.
Yeah.
Because he was famous in almost most countries, and it doesn't matter about religion, race, nothing. So in the equivalent in Western countries, it would be the death of the Pope, more or less, or maybe the Queen of England. But in Argentina, nobody cares about the Queen of England. But he was. I saw tweets about countries like he's very big in Birmania, I think. I don't remember, and stuff and places like that you never thought that something is going new Maradona.
You don't expect that, right? I mean, and also you think that a whole generation now, doesn't realize the impact that he had on our generation.
I never thought that he was so important to me until the other day.
Yeah.
Because I started to like football back in 1990s in the World Cup. Because I was 3 in 86, so I don't remember much. But he was playing with the ankle injured and playing and making stuff. But yes, I realized that the other day when he died. And another thing is like for being here, you don't realize how big he is in other parts of the world because he's from Argentina. So it's like he's important to us because we won a World Cup with him, reached the finals the next World Cup. But for someone in Australia, maybe you don't think that. But when you travel a lot, every place you go, it's you're from Argentina, Maradona, and that's
it. Yeah.
Or Messi now.
Yeah. And I've been wondering about this in everything that has happened. There's outpouring of grief from all quarters of the world and everyone, all age groups. And because you must be interacting with a lot of people across the world, I wonder if we'll have somebody have that kind of impact on us in football. I mean, we talk about Messi. We say, we use Messi in that sense, but I don't feel he has had that same cultural impact like how Maradona did.
No, it's different because Maradona was the first like big star, like Michael Jordan was in basketball.
Yeah.
But football is more popular in the world. Then he had something that you don't get easy, that it's charisma.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of course, the story of his life from being in the poorest neighbors of Buenos Aires and becoming, well, saving his family economically and becoming a superstar around the world. So it's this Messi is not a low class family, but and he's not charismatic as Maradona. There's a lot of many moments on television, not in football, on television or in interviews talking, and he says phrases that are in the mind of the people. That it's like Pelé debutó con un pibe. He is saying basically that Pelé lost his virginity with a boy. So things crazy like that, and they are popular words in culture in Argentina.
Yeah.
And there are many of those. There's a book about Maradona phrases with 1,000 phrases of Maradona about in the entire life.
Wow.
And there is one Maradona bot Twitter account with all those phrases.
Well, I must check it out.
Hi, my name is Fransisco Fourcade, and I'm a Southampton fan from Argentina.
My first question, Francisco, how and why Southampton?
How? There is no one reason. It all started with I used to have a play-by-mail football league.
Okay.
When you make the formation and you say by mail and someone simulates with the program.
Yeah.
So I was the manager of that league, and Southampton was free, so I had to fill the free teams. And I started to like the team and playing with it. Then become championship manager. So you choose the team and you start to play with the team and you are like, I like this team. So that's the main start. And there are some other reasons, like my team in Argentina is San Lorenzo, and one of the nicknames is Santos, that is Saints, of course. And well, there's no main reason, but those kind of things.
Those connections, right?
Yes, those connections are the reason.
And when did you start your Twitter account?
My Twitter account, I think we started the 1st of January of 2014, I think. We used to have the Facebook account before, but I don't remember the date exactly. So the first day of the year, we started with Southampton, Argentina Twitter account. 6 years ago, I think.
You were saying that there was somebody else who influenced you to start the Twitter account.
There are two people. First, Trevor Foy from Australia. He's the one who managed Global Saints. And he found me on Twitter because the first time I went to Southampton in 2012, there was a thing called marching in. When using the hashtag, you show when you are going to the stadium. So I make a tweet about I travel like 1,000 kilometers from Argentina to attend to the game. And it was retweeted by the Southampton account. And many people started to follow me. And they are always with the same question. Why?
Yeah.
Why not Chelsea, Man United? Why Southampton? There's no reason. Why not? And he contacted me and we started to planning Southampton, Argentina. And he made the Facebook account and I managed that account. And then there was a journalist in Argentina, Seba Garcia. He used to, his old Twitter account name was QPR Argentina.
Okay.
And he used to tweet every game of QPR. So I started talking with him about Southampton and tweeting about Southampton. And kind of he suggested me to make the Saints Argentina Twitter account.
And you called him the godfather of the...
Yeah, he's like the godfather of Saints Argentina. and he used to love, no, he still loves very much Charlie Austin. So when Charlie Austin came to Southampton, I was like saying things to him about Charlie.
His story is an amazing one, and he's put a beautiful thread on Twitter. I'm hoping he'll come one day on the pod.
Maybe I can help you.
What is your earliest memory of the club?
I think there was a game called PC Football. It was like the Spanish version of Championship Manager. It was a game like in 1994, 95. It was the Spanish League first, and you can get. There was a list of players you can buy, and there were Spanish players you put on sale, and there was like the global stars you can get. And there was a guy called Matt Letizier. So he's the legend of Southampton, so I remember him. And I think that was the first memory about Southampton.
How did you play that? Because you said that you did the League by Mail as well, which I'm guessing most young people will not know what that is. So if you can explain that.
The Play by Mail League, well, you have an app will be today when you load a roster with the players and you make the formation, style of play like long ball, counter attack, and all the stuff. You create the team, and it was a small archive, a text archive, and you send that by mail, and the manager of the game load that on one folder, and with another app he simulates the games, and there was another text with the report of the game play by play, and you have the injuries, suspensions, goals, and all that stuff. So it was like a work to receive the mails, make the simulation, then upload everything to the web, and invent some report of the games with pictures and all the stuff.
So around what year would this have been?
That was 16 years ago. I was 21.
Wow.
20. And we had the league like 4 or 5 years, more or less.
Wow. So then what happened? Why did you stop? I mean, one is because it sounds like a lot of work. But
at one time, there were like 5 leagues with 10 teams on first division and 10 or 8 in second division. So that was a lot of managers. And people started growing up, having kids, and get boring of the stuff. So we had to reduce to the last league we used to have was Premier League, because that was the one I was managing. So, and then we needed to get more managers, but it was difficult. So once I get tired and we stop. But we are friends. We are friends. We are going to eat and have time together. I make a good friends.
That's the thing. Everyone I talk to talks about how this has been such a journey, and friendship is something that is very integral to all of this. And we'll talk about that in a bit. You were telling me last time that you work in a store. It's a family-owned store. Your family-owned store.
Well, it's a store that opened. My grandfather bought it in 1956.
Wow.
So it's been a long time. And it's practically the same shop it was in the 50s, more or less. It started with a library, but not books, school stuff, paper, pens. Then I don't know when it changed it to fishing stuff, guns, and knives for cooking and stuff like that. Cool. Then we stopped selling guns.
Okay.
And now we sell tobacco, knives, fishing stuff, and some other stuff, random stuff.
Okay.
But it's a known shop of this city.
Yeah. Well, so what's it called?
Casa Fourcade, the surname.
Oh.
It's like Fourcade's house.
Lovely.
You call house to the shops also here.
Lovely. I hope you can send me some pictures. It sounds really fascinating and interesting. Just the history of it is so fascinating.
I will send you some pictures.
So tell me, Francisco, we were talking about him earlier. Who is your club legend?
Well, I haven't seen playing him live.
Yeah.
Because he retired in 2001, but it's Matt Letizier. I saw videos on the internet of his goal, and it was like, I don't get how he only played like 6 games on England team.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. But and he's respected because he never wanted to left Southampton. He had offers from Chelsea and other big teams, but he didn't want. So that's respect. Nobody does that now. Even Messi, he wants to leave Barcelona right now.
Right. I think we used to have these guys. They were one club men. I think the game has changed in that sense, and also, maybe players' ambition, the idea that they can do something somewhere else, it drives them. But yeah, they're more journeymen now than they used to be.
It's ambition and money, of course. Because for an example, you used to have Barcelona when I was a kid, or Athletic Bilbao. They don't have sponsors because they didn't want to have sponsors. But at one time they had to do it because they were giving some, how do you say, extra. Well, they were losing against other teams because they didn't have an extra income of the sponsorship.
Yeah.
So that's the deal. So Bilbao, Athletic Bilbao, they still have the tradition of only using Basque players, and I don't know how much this is going to be like that because of competition. Even that they never been to the relegation in Spain, so that's I think to be proud without foreign players and all that, and of course they get their colors from Southampton.
Oh, really?
Yes, because at that time it was normal to get football kits in England. So some one time they get the Southampton kits and they started to use that. So it's like white and red stripes, black shorts, and black socks.
That's interesting because I've heard about Juventus and the Newcastle kits and that connection. So but this I didn't know about this.
Yes, they played a few friendlies some years ago. There was an account called, I think, was Southampton Spain, that it was managed by Bilbao fans.
Oh, fascinating, the kind of history that is out there, and for us to really understand. It's amazing how these connections that I find so interesting. And like you said, your own connection, from Saints and San Lorenzo.
When I was started to follow Southampton and reading about stories of the club, their history, I found that they were the first British team to visit South America, and it was like that tour they make here. They played a few games in Argentina back in 1905.
Okay.
I think early past century. The first game an Argentinian president attended was a Southampton game, and that tour was like the first step of the seed of professional football in Argentina.
Whoa, okay.
So people start to become interested about football, and they wanted to make it professional.
Wow, yeah, that's amazing. And you, how did you kind of discover all this? And are you interested in this kind of history? And
I follow a few football history accounts of Argentina and the beginnings. I think it was Google Southampton Argentina to find a lot of things. Now, I found a blog with that story. Brilliant. Because I always try to make the connections, find the connections about Southampton and Argentina. For example, the Southampton is the only English or British city to appear on Argentinian money.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, how?
Well, the 20 pesos bill, it has Juan Manuel de Rosas, an Argentinian prosser.
Okay.
And he died in Southampton. So, born in Buenos Aires, died in Southampton.
Oh.
It's kind of tricky. But
yeah. But it's there. Those connections are there.
Southampton is in Argentinian money. I can say that.
I mean, it is there. So,
And then one of the biggest discoveries I found, it was like when San Lorenzo, my team, played at the Dell, the old stadium of Southampton, back in 1956, I guess.
yeah.
San Lorenzo won like 2-1, I think. And I have a program of that day. I bought it on eBay. So I got it. It's one of my Saints treasures. There's another connection between Southampton and my team. What the Saints we had.
Yeah.
Not the colors, because we are blue and red with stripes. And both teams lost their stadiums. The Dell was the home of Southampton, but they had to make a new stadium because of the Premier League laws with seating capacity and all the stuff, modern installations. And the Dell was like, I didn't know the Dell never, but I would love to saw that. So it was like a small stadium, an old stadium. So now there are houses on that place. It was the Dell houses. And San Lorenzo lost their stadium back in 1979 because of the military government. They took the stadium to make some roads, they said. But then the government sold the place to a supermarket. So we have a new stadium that was made in 1993. So when I was a kid, San Lorenzo doesn't own a stadium. So we were playing in other stadiums. And there was a shows about that. Where are you from? And some stuff. And a few years ago, we made some manifestations. 1,000 people in the main square of Buenos Aires asking for the restitution of that place. There was a law. The law was passed, and we now own the place. And San Lorenzo now is trying to make the approval to make a new stadium. So we're going to be back in the place where the old stadium was.
Brilliant.
It's like the most important thing in the club right now.
I remember talking to William about this. He's a San Lorenzo fan from London, and he was telling me, and it's amazing that he said the same thing that you did. He's a Charlton fan, and they too lost their club, and that is what drew him to San Lorenzo.
It's like West Ham fans that miss the old stadium.
Yeah.
They don't like the Olympic because it's too big, no feelings, and it's kind of that fight. And I never seen the old stadium too, so it would be like a dream to be now in that place.
Yeah, it was a great conversation with William. He's a great ambassador, I must tell you, for San Lorenzo. He speaks about it with such passion, man.
Yes.
He told me about the guys who sing entering into the stadium, and he shared some clips with me. Man, even now my hair is standing just talking about it. It looks and sounds so amazing.
Yes, well, I'm a season ticket holder, so I'm in every game of that. So like more than 13 years right now.
I feel like we're talking more about San Lorenzo now than Southampton.
Because there are the connections about San Lorenzo.
It's those connections,
I make my Southampton friend a San Lorenzo fan.
Yeah.
Because, that's another thing of Southampton. It's not only the team for me. Because the first time I went to UK, I went to Scotland, Wales, and Liverpool and Manchester. And people were asking, where are you going next? So I thought, Scotland, Wales, and Southampton. And the face of the people were like, what are you going to do in Southampton? I'm going to see some football. You have another teams right here that they are, but I know. But I like Southampton. So with that tweet I was telling before, many people start to follow me on Twitter and ask me things and stuff. So I started to talk with this guy Dex, and the next time I went to Southampton in 2014, he told me, okay, come to my home, we have breakfast, we change football cards of the World Cup,
okay,
and then go to the game. So I knew him at his home. There was his father, his mother, and we have breakfast. And now every time I go to Southampton, I'm going to his house. We spend time. We play PlayStation, FIFA, and talk about Argentina, football, Saints, and all that stuff. We have a WhatsApp group when we talk every day, more or less, about stuff, life stuff, not only Southampton. It was the same with the city. Well, when you go 8 times to a city, it's kind of like your home. I like to say that Southampton is my home away from home. It doesn't have like castles and all the stuff that you can find in England because of the Blitz in the Second World War.
Yeah.
Because the Germans destroyed everything.
Right.
You have only the walls, the barricade, that is the main place, and you have the big ships people travel. And there's the Titanic Museum, but it's not a big city. So every time I go, I like to walk around the city to different places and just do nothing, just walk. So it's kind of familiar to me right now. If you told me which would you like to live in the world, I would have to say Southampton. I would love to live there. Not New York, London, Southampton. Not fancy things. So it's I like to talk to people about Southampton, not only the city too. So I make a few people. I took my brother to Southampton once, some girlfriends, friends of mine, so they know Southampton. And every time something happened about Southampton, the city or the team, I receive message from, there's a Southampton guy traveling in Southampton on television, a tourist show. I'll say, okay, I'm going to watch. And things like that. So I'm the Southampton guy in Argentina.
You were telling me last time that you've been stopped for directions once in Southampton.
Yes, once time. I don't remember when it was, but 2 times I was telling you, do you know where the shopping was or a place to eat? Yes, look there. Luckily, I knew the answer.
That tells me that you're very much at home whenever you're in Southampton.
Yes, and it's sad to me to left Southampton. Even I know I'm going to be back, but it's like I've been the same times in London like in Southampton, but it's not the same living London like living Southampton. It's I don't know how to say it, but it's like living home. So that's why I like to say it's my home away from home. It became more biggest than football.
Yeah,
and that's because I like to go to football games in every holiday. So I found, for example, last year I was in Latvia. I went to a football game in Latvia, 2 in Ukraine, 2 in Estonia. And I like to see the city and how the people is there on the game and how they feel the game and the passion and all that. It doesn't matter which is first division, second, fifth division. It's like knowing another part of the city and the people far away from the tourist places. So it's more like that.
It must be amazing. And you told me that you've met San Lorenzo fans across the world because of this.
Well, first I knew Simon when he is a Southampton fan.
Okay.
That used to live in Argentina.
Oh, okay.
And Alan too.
Uh-huh.
They were Southampton fans living in Argentina, English people.
Uh-huh.
And they started to follow Southampton, Argentina, of course. And when we played the final against Man United a few years ago of the League Cup, we met on a pub surrounded by English Manchester fans, and us supporting Southampton. And it was going. And Simon was a San Lorenzo fan too, not for me. He used to be San Lorenzo fans before me, and then I found some other fans in the world because they know San Lorenzo because of the songs. That's the main reason.
Yeah. You've been invited a couple of times. So was it to the embassy?
Yes, I was invited to the British Embassy in Argentina because of Southampton, Argentina, in Twitter. The Argentinian ambassador, the British ambassador in Argentina, follows us.
Oh.
Once we were invited for the England-Belgium game in the World Cup, last World Cup. So I went to the embassy to watch the game with another people and, of course, me. And then I was invited again for the Youth Olympic Games that they were in Argentina. And the British team was invited to the embassy, so I was invited too.
Nice.
And the British ambassador in Bolivia follows us because he's a Southampton fan.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Brilliant.
And sometimes he writes to us, we won, and stuff like that on Twitter.
So cool, man.
I think he started to follow us because of the ambassador in Argentina, because they have contact, they follow each other. So I guess he introduced him to us on Twitter. I don't remember how it was, but he follows us on Argentina.
Connections everywhere.
Yes. It's more easy to get connections with a small team because it's like if you're a Man United, Arsenal, City fans, there are a lot of fans in Argentina of those teams. So it was like, no surprise. But Southampton is like surprising. Yeah. So people want to talk about that if they are of those teams. I don't think that an ambassador of Man United fans start to follow every Man United fan in Argentina because there are many.
I've just been discovering a whole bunch of guys. There is a young guy who I'm going to speak to, Herman. He is a Portsmouth, Argentina. He has an account. Yeah, I spoke to him.
When I don't think it's the same account because they changed the user sometimes.
Yeah.
But if it was him, I sent him a picture when I visit Portsmouth a few years ago, and I sent a picture of the Fratton Park station, train station. Well, that's the train station of the stadium.
It's called Pompeii, Argentina. Yes. He's really young, man. He's 17. I was surprised. You know, a 17-year-old.
There are many new accounts of European or world's football fans.
Yeah.
Most of them are like kind of joke accounts, but there are some other serious accounts like this one.
Yeah.
Of the team, I'm not going to say his name. I have a problem. We always make jokes with Pompeii, Argentina.
Yeah.
Sometimes, because it's Southampton derby.
Oh, that was going to be my next question.
They hate each other.
Yeah.
When I told my friend I was going to visit Portsmouth because of the Navy Museum, he told me he was not happy about that. Why would you want to go to that and some bad words?
That was going to be my next question. Who are Southampton's rivals?
Portsmouth. Now, more because Portsmouth is two divisions lower. They played last year in the cup. They played in Portsmouth. Southampton beat them 4-0, but they haven't played like 2 times in the last 10 years, more or less. So now for the Bournemouth fans, they want to be Southampton derby because it's a city near Southampton. But Southampton fans doesn't care too much about that. But it's more like another South Coast derby, the second South Coast derby. But mainly Portsmouth, yes.
I again, connections, man. Without even realizing it, I'm going to be speaking to your rival next.
Well, there was a thing in Portsmouth. They built a tower, like to view. It was the Emirates Tower, and Emirates colors, red and white, and they painted like that, and people complained, so they had to paint it blue and white because of Portsmouth. And it was like a show. They have the big building in the city. It was a Saints building. They had to change the colors.
Amazing.
Yes, they hate a lot.
Yeah, I can understand.
As far as I knew people, they were like, they didn't like. Why are we going to Portsmouth? He told me. Do you want something from there? No.
Player who you feel is sometimes overlooked, or a player who you feel deserves a bit more praise?
Players from now, well, Danny Ings, last season he was like he became second he came second in
Yeah.
the scoring table. Then he was called to the English team. Then he got injured. But if he would play in another team, on a big team, he would be like a big player, more famous and stuff like that. Then, well, of course, James Ward-Prowse, because he's a kid of the academy. He was born in Portsmouth.
Oh.
Well, he's now the captain of the team. And he started to play when he was 18. He's 26 right now.
Okay.
So the first time I went to Southampton, he was playing. So that was like 8 years ago. So, and he's in the English team right now. Well, Jason Panchin was the first Saints goal I had seen live, and we won that game to Reading. So it was like I like him because of that. And it was sad when he left because he was playing well. I like him. That team, I used to like that team of the 2012. That was the team that returned to Premier League. I have a shirt signed with all that team the club gave me. So I had framed it behind.
Oh, cool.
And it has the Jason Panchin, Ward-Prowse, Maya Yoshida, Gaston Ramirez, the Uruguayan, Ricky Lambert. Well, Ricky Lambert. I love Ricky Lambert because he's like the working class hero that became from the lowest teams, and he was not young when he made the big jump to the great team, to the first division.
A game that left you elated and a game that left you disappointed.
I saw that game on TV. It was the semi-final against Liverpool. We won the game with Shane's long goal at the end of the game. And we reached the final against Man United, the game I was telling before. And, well, of course, they lost against Leicester, 9-0 last year. And another good game was the 8-0 to Sunderland. I couldn't believe that day. 1 goal, 2 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, 8 goals. That was amazing. So the 9-0, 9-1, I don't remember right now, was the worst, of course, for sure. Because you don't have Southampton news in Argentina, not many times. But when you lost 9-0, you have big news. Like, Leicester won 9-0 to Southampton. And people come to say, oh, Southampton, that's your team. You lost. Yeah.
I was watching that game. That was a tough game to watch. And in games like that, there comes a time when you know that you can't pull back. There's that one moment where you know that it's not going to get better. There are those games, that momentum is just suddenly shifted to the other team.
Yeah. I haven't seen that game.
Oh.
Because until last year, I used to work on Saturdays. Okay. Most games are on Saturday mornings in Argentina. And, of course, there are not too much televised games of Southampton. Most City, United, the stuff. So I always follow those games in Twitter. And I was like, what's happening? But I think the feeling was the same I was when I watched Brazil and Germany in the World Cup. The 7-1 game. I was
just going to say,
It was like, come on, stop it.
What do you think of Hassan as manager?
Well, it's one of those modern managers, like Jurgen Klopp. They look similar. I think he has an offensive style of playing that it was good because last managers like Hughes and Pellegrino, and it was so boring to watch Southampton games. The team was like expecting someone to happen and nothing happened. They were boring games. When you go from Pochettino and Coleman to those managers, they were boring games. So it was frustrating to watch that. You couldn't win any game. With Pochettino and Coleman, you was, okay, we can beat City, we can beat United. With those managers, no.
But that was an interesting season with Pochettino. He had, one season at Southampton? 2013?
1.5 maybe. Because I remember it was like Christmas, something like that. I woke up and I started to have many tweets about Pochettino. And I thought, fine. And people was angry because they kicked out the Nigel Atkins, that he was the promotion manager. So people like him. and they were angry like that. Luckily, Pochettino made a good impression. He left in the bad way, but money talks.
Yeah. No, but it was an interesting season because you guys finished what, 8th that year?
I think that was the season we reached the UEFA League.
His name keeps coming up in the last week. Every time somebody gets sacked, wherever it is, it's PSG, it's Real Madrid, it's Manchester United. Everyone talks about Poch, man. Pochettino. So I just want to understand, how is he viewed back home in Argentina?
In Argentina, well, he was. The rumors once there were that he was going to be the Argentinian manager, the national team, but people started knowing him as manager when he reached Southampton, more or less, because he made his whole career in Europe. Well, he won a championship, a league with Newell's, with Bielsa as manager, and with the European football. When he was to play, he played for the national team, but while he was playing in Espanyol, it was a not big team in Spain. Nobody paid attention to him. But when he started to manage, yes. He and Simeone, there are always rumors to be in Argentina team. But I think that, well, the National Federation is chaos, basically. So they don't want that. And also, I think they don't want to manage Messi, because they don't want to make the bitter thing to take out him of the team in case of that happen. So that's, and well, nobody wants to make change the 2014 players, because they were like always there and someone had to clean up the team, and nobody wants to do that. So that's why Scaloni is not that. He never managed anything. He's there. He took young players and now he's there. But his name is always on the more Simeone than Pochettino on the list of Argentinian managers.
So the list of managers, Argentinian managers, I mean, of course, we talked about Bielsa and what he's done at Leeds. He's like a god, man.
You have people in Argentina that loves Bielsa and people that hates Bielsa because of the 2002 World Cup. We lost in the first round.
Yeah.
So, and because Bielsa fans are so every time talking about Bielsa that, Bielsa this, and Bielsa, the other people is tired and don't like Bielsa. But last year, it was the first time that second division game, English second division game, the championship, was televised in Argentina. Every Leeds game was on TV because of Bielsa. So imagine.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know, second division Argentinian games going to be shown on India.
Yeah.
And there's another reason. In the case of Bielsa, his nickname is El Loco. You know what Loco is? Crazy. And he has a personality that's like strange. He's always focused. And for example, Batistuta talks when he was going to talk with him when he was on the national team. He thought, well, we are going to have a chat about 30 minutes. And it was 8 hours long. And were there many stories about Bielsa. And well, he's sitting on the fridge every game, and you listen to the interviews right now, and he answered, and it's strange. So I think people it's like a Brian Clough of the modernity.
Correct. Yeah.
More or less. The press, when he was managing Argentina, when people asked him in the conference, they used to like 2 or 3 hours sometimes. And they took like 15 minutes now. But he used to talk a lot and explain every question. Because why do you put a defender or a midfielder instead of that? And he explained everything. And maybe sometimes he said, no, I was wrong. I had to make the other thing. And that's when you have a critic to yourself. It's strange nowadays.
I mean, he is, like you said, he's much admired. Most of the guys, most of the coaches, and Guardiola talks about what an influence he was. Pochettino,
Yes,
of course, talks
yes,
about what an influence he
yes.
has been on him and his coaching career. And what I found interesting was that I don't know if you remember this, but last year they had a game. I think it was against Aston Villa, was it?
The one he made the players to give a goal to because it was unfair.
Yeah.
And they lost the promotion.
Yeah, they lost, and those kind of what should we say? It's the gentleman side of the game. It's the ethical side of the game that you will struggle to find now, and I think a lot of people respect that.
Yes,
It's
like kind of romantic and nostalgic football stuff.
Yeah.
And because the thing you are saying, the underdogs, he won the league with Newell's.
Yeah.
Vélez. They are not the big five teams. Then he won the cup with Bilbao.
Yeah.
That's difficult because the same we were talking before, the Basque players. Promotion with Leeds, that they were like 15 years battling for that. And good campaigns in Olympique in France. And I think I'm missing something else. Yes.
I remember that he signed for Lazio and then he quit after 2 days.
I remember that, but I don't remember which team. It was Lazio?
I think it was Lazio. It was Italy. I think it was Lazio, yeah. And I've always wondered why. I'm sure there must be an interesting story.
Well, it's a mystery because when he lost the World Cup in 2002, he was still the manager. He won the Olympics game in 2004 with Argentina, and then he resigned. He said he was tired, and nobody knew about why. Yeah. He's kind of like an outsider.
Yeah.
Football. Well, and there are many managers that identify with him in Argentina.
A generation of them must be like looking up to him. Yeah.
And it's strange because he has one of the most iconic tragedies in Argentinian football to being kicked off in the first round. Lost to England.
Yeah.
That's mean a lot. And being out of the World Cup when you were one of the candidates because they won the qualification by far, beating Brazil, and that's a mystery.
Trains those guys hard, man. That's the thing with him. He trains them really hard. I wonder if I watch Leeds now and they're like on every minute. They're there right on top of the player,
Well, that's one of the problems of that World Cup. It was like the last 15 days before the end, he trained the players hard, and they were tired of the end of the season.
Yeah.
So, for example, Ashara, that was the defender, the captain, was injured. He never played in the World Cup, and the players were tired. That happened with Leeds the first season. They were with all that pressure stuff, and they got tired. There are 42 games in that division, in the championship. So the physics, that's something that happened with Bielsa's team. They got tired at the end. When San Lorenzo won the Libertadores Cup because we never won it before. And when I was in school, they always did jokes about you don't have a Libertadores Cup. And it was for everyone in San Lorenzo was like the only thing we didn't have.
Yeah.
So we won it in 2014. Cold night. I cried.
Yeah.
And then we went to Morocco at the end of the year to play Real Madrid. A game that that it was kind of impossible because the difference between teams.
Yeah.
But the whole Morocco experience was like 2,000 people in another country far away. And it was like, oh, hey, hello. And because you have the San Lorenzo jacket, shirt, or whatever. So it was like a big family in a strange country. And it was November, 8 years now. And it was cold. It was my first Premier League game. I didn't know what I was expecting to see there. So I never thought I was going to be at a Premier League game. Luckily, we won.
Yeah.
It was like a dream come true because I wanted to go to England, to UK most, when I was a kid. At that time, there were not so common the travels. It was more like something different. And to be in a city that, of course, you expect to be in London, in New York, in Berlin, the famous city, but to be in Southampton was like, yeah, I'm in Southampton right now. That was the start of story that has now 8 years, and I've been 8 times. And I make all my travels. When I organize my travels, I need to check the Southampton home games. So with that, I make the whole trip around that game. The only thing I have to make now is to go to an away game.
You have described yourself as being the priest of St. Mary's. So tell me about the other Southampton international community.
Well, I met Trevor when he came to Argentina. He went to the World Cup. He was going to be here this year, to the Copa America. But then coronavirus and stuff happened. I met some guys. They were from Southampton, but they were living in New Zealand. They came to Argentina. I make a small tour of my city.
Brilliant.
I saw the Dubai Saints fan when I went to a game.
Oh.
I saw their flag and I recognized them. And we talk sometimes with Chile.
Oh, okay.
Southampton, Chile, Southampton, Brazil, and and there's a Colombian guy too.
You collaborated with some guys for Southampton, India as well?
Well, I make the logo of Southampton, India, Argentina, of course, New Zealand. But this year we make a Zoom reunion with some Saints around the world, and we play a Saints quiz. Brilliant. There was a guy from Ecuador. He was from Guatemala, I think. There was United States and other countries.
That's brilliant, man. And who organizes this?
Trevor, the guy from Australia, the one who managed Global Saint. He used to make the interviews for the match program. So the first one of the first game of the season, a few seasons ago, it was the Argentina. That this was like saying, okay, you are crazy. It was a Southampton-Everton game. And, the way to be in Argentinian football games is different to England. I'm quite calm in Argentina, but you shout to the other players and the referee. And in the Premier League, it's more like calm. So I found myself shouting horrible to Lukaku, to a player that then he played a World Cup when he lost a ball in the line. So I stand and said in Spanish, horrible. That's horrible. So they say, this is not Argentina. And sometimes I'm talking along in the game, like, dale. Argentinian stuff. So I think people around looks like me, like more than 2,000 kids.
I'm sure they're not all Southampton.
I have many Southampton, but then I have to say, okay, stop buying Southampton or San Lorenzo shirts because you need to get another team shirts. And I like rare teams. For example, I only have one Argentina shirt that I bought last year because it was cheap. And I have, for example, 3 Copenhagen shirts, 2 Sherman shirts. I have many teams.
What does it mean to you being a Southampton fan?
I took that seriously. It's not a thing that happened for 6 months. I took the Saints Twitter account like a shop. I don't have too much time to make the things I would love to do, but I like to spread the Southampton in Argentina. And it's crazy how you can feel sad for a team that is like 1,000 kilometers away from your house. So I was mad when we lost against Man United, a game that we were winning. So, when I go to San Lorenzo games, I always wear a Southampton jacket. And on my San Lorenzo jacket, I have a little badge, Southampton badge. I have here, for example, I have many Southampton stuff around here. So, for example, I want to take my mother to Southampton, not for the game, just to know the city, just to know the place I like. It's like when you have a girlfriend and you like him and you want to introduce to your family, it's kind of that.
Yeah, and it has an impact on how we view the world also.
Well, it's in my case, it's there was like a kind of fear first time because Argentina and England they have a world history.
Yeah.
A year before I was born, so it was recent history. Well, it's like England and India.
Yeah.
And Southampton was one of the main ports of their things about that war in the walls of Southampton.
Yeah.
But people don't care about that there. It's more important deal here in Argentina than in England. Nobody said something about the war, or maybe just talking about. I talked with one guy in a museum in Southampton that told me, "Oh, I was in Berlin right at that time, and I wanted to go to the war in the Falklands, Malvinas, whatever you want to say." And we took like no problem.
Yeah.
I gave him an Argentinian coin of commemorative coin. It's not to an Argentinian going to England because you have the idea that something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like the hand of God, the war, and all the stuff. Not in Scotland. In Scotland, it's the opposite. They love Argentina because the hand of God. But nothing happened. Never happened. Nothing. It's hard to explain to you the Argentinian league system right now, but that will take me like 3 hours. I know 6 times early when Southampton is playing. But for example, San Lorenzo game that is playing today also. First, it was at 9:30 p.m. The next day, it was 5 p.m. So it was at the same time like the Southampton game. And then they changed it to 7:30 p.m. Because, well, right now there is a tournament that nobody knows how it works. Today finished the group phase, but I don't know what's happening next. If it's going to be a playoff, a mini league, or something like that. I don't know. I really don't know. That's not a joke. I don't know.
Yeah.
For example, they changed last week that there was going to be 4 promotions, but there are no relegations. But they say that there were 4, not 2. They were 2 at the first, but a few weeks ago they changed to 4. That's because the president of the federation has not power, and they have to make happy many teams, so they changed the rules. Another example is that he is the president of one club, a small team on second division. They went to promotion from third to second, and there was a tournament in second division, and because of the pandemic, they changed it and started from 0 again. When it was only seven games left, and they made a 8 games tournament. So why don't you play the 7 games and start from 0? Well, he's the president of Barracas. They play in the stadium named after him. Last game they have a penalty that it was not a penalty, and the guy who scored was his son. Imagine that. Wait a minute, I have something to show you.
Okay.
I guess. Let me check.
Yeah.
I remember a friend gave me that.
Oh yeah.
He used to work on a cruiser, and he had an Indian friend, and they exchanged shirts, and he gave me to me because he knows I collect.
Goa is my home state.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah. That's brilliant. You know what? They've just got a new shirt. I'm gonna send that to you.
Oh, you don't have to do it.
No. I want.
First of all, because it's hard, we have a complicated because of Argentina.
Yeah.
It's like a mess to receive something from another country.
How come?
Yes, I used to get a lot of shirts from classic football shirts, and they kept like in 10 days I have. So I send them now to Southampton to my friend's house. But when I go there, I collect them and bring it.
Oh.
But you have to fill papers. You have to wait like 2 months in the customs.
Oh.
It's to avoid people to spend US dollars in another country. Because, for example, an iPhone, I don't know how much it costs, but it's like $900 US dollars in United States or Europe. There's no official retailer here in Argentina, but you can find it on like the Argentinian eBay.
Okay.
For the double.
Oh.
So most important things, electronics, you can get it at one price outside the country, but here it's like 2 times the price. And you're not allowed to bring electronics by mail. It's kind of difficult. You have to fill papers. You have only like $50 US dollars for a year, and they make it difficult. So my friend from Southampton, he always told me, I want to send you something. No, wait, I'm going there and you give me no. I can send to him.
Yeah.
And you can wish. It's a headache.
I'm still going to try. If you give me your address, I'm going to try and send. If it's too much trouble and you have to go somewhere, do something, then I don't want to put you into any trouble. But I think we should try. Or
send it to Southampton. It's okay. No problem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I can do that. I think
it's better.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll send one for your friend Dex as well.
Okay. Then send me your site and stuff like that, and I think I could try to make it from here.
Yeah.
To India.
I also worry that the postman is going to wear my San Lorenzo shirt.
We can try.
Francisco, thanks man for a wonderful chat. Thanks for coming on Faraway Fan. It's been so great.
It was nice to be here.
So great chatting with you, man. Wonderful stories, wonderful connections all around.
Yes.
You take care and we'll chat
soon. You too, of course. See ya.
See you. Bye.
Goodbye.